Do 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Do, do, do. Waiting for the world to join me. Good evening, Tammy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. Rackart. Hello, Rackart. Hello, Will and World. Welcome to another trivia night, Rackart. I hope you've been safe out there on the roads of America. Sarah M. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to trivia night. You can give it about 5 minutes and wait for people to join us, and then we'll get this party started. But I hope you had a wonderful weekend and past week, Sarah. Hello, Will. We are still battling a raging forest fire. I'm sorry about that. Just remember, Smokey the Bear said, only you, Tammy, can prevent forest fires. I know that's a lot of pressure, but Smokey the Bear said it. Only you can prevent forest fires. It's truck stops up against the world. Truck drivers up against the world. Not enough people appreciate what you do, sir. Reichart, sorry. Sal, hi, Will, and everyone. I hope all is well as can be. Well, thank you. Lemon Pie. Welcome, Lemon Pie, and to Sal, to both of you. I hope you both had a wonderful week. Purple, good evening, Purple, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope everything worked out for you this past week. Riker, fire. I have one country over from it and county. Gotta put my glasses on. Seeing ashes all over my porch and yard is bizarre. It can be. Where I live, in between the Cascades and the Rocky Mountains, we get a lot of fires on both sides, and the prevailing winds then come down on from either side. So we get all the ash and stuff that blows in here. We get fires here, but uh, they're on the outskirts of the community. They never get really too big, but we do have fire season. That's usually August here. But I hope everyone is able to stay safe though, because fire is can be devastating to in multiple different ways. Not only the wildlife out there, but to the people and the breathing aspect of it all. With all those pathogens in the air, can't be safe. You have to do your best to stay safe. Callie Lisa, good evening. Welcome, Callie Lisa, to tonight's trivia. All the questions tonight on tonight's trivia are killer duos. This is another viewer suggestion for topic for tonight. These are all at least two people who killed together. And you stay safe, world. All right, another 16 seconds, and then we're going to get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. JDR is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, JDR, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you had a wonderful week. Barry Morphew and his pet mountain lion. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get the first question up on the screen. Now, I understand that a lot of these duos, people have never heard of these people. I tried to narrow it down to the most popular murdering duos out there, but at the same time, I still understand that there are a lot of these duos people are not going to know the name of or know who that person is by their picture or what or so on. So I've added a couple of bonus questions at the end of it all. So just stick with it. All right, here we go. First question. This man was part of a murderous duo that went by two different names. In the end, it doesn't matter what they called themselves. Truman Capote made them even more famous. Who is this individual killer? Is it A, David Sanborn, B, Richard Hickrock, C, Alexander Malk, or D, Barry Morphew? Caleb, good evening, Caleb. Oh, forgot to put myself in my little window, my little box in the corner. I said get in the corner. There we go. D all the way. Christina, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Christina. I hope you've been having a wonderful week and weekend. So glad you could join us tonight. Barry named his pet urban kitty Harry. Harry the mountain lion. How original of Barry to do something like that. See, stab in the dark, says Purple. Stab in the dark. Could be. Who knows? We'll find out in a minute here. I've been trying for the last 10 minutes to get my idiot phone to restore sound. Hello, all. Hello, Cement Shoes. Well, you can't hear us, so I'll say it anyway. So maybe you watch it on rewind. I hope you had a wonderful week, Cement Shoes. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer to the first question is B as in boy, Richard Hickrock. His cohort in crime was Perry Edward Smith, was his other half of the murderous duo. Question 2. There was never enough for this man. Didn't matter how many lives he took along with his partner, lover. He just was never going to stop. Who is this? Is this A, Paul Bernardo, B, James Dean, C, Arnold Palmer, or D, Perry Edward Smith? Who is this man? Hi, Gone Girl. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Short and Ice. Hello, Short and Ice. I'm glad you can make it tonight. I hope you had a wonderful week. I can hear everyone now. Yay! Gone Girl is going with D. Perry Edward Smith. Can you hear me, Cement Shoes? Can you, Cement Shoes? Because that would be pretty cool. Lead singer of the Smiths. He does have that that haircut. Looks kind of like Robert Smith. Hurry up and wait. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this man is A. This is Paul Bernardo. If you answered A, you got it correct. His lover, eventual wife, was Tammy Holk. I can speak. I can. And I can read too. I'm smart. My wings from the saucy hen just got here. Yummy. Saucy hen. That sounds good. Wings. All right, question 3. Believe it or not, this duo were not only best friends, they were actually twin brothers. They very seldom left each other's sides. Murder, robbery, bootlegging, and arson were just some of the fun things they did. Name just one of the two. Is it A, Matthew Dillon, B, Marcus Wright, C, Reginald Cray, or D, Edward Shea? Who is? Name one of these two. Only one is listed in the possible answers. Good evening, Mel. Short Nice is going with B. Sal is C. Who are these brothers? During their life, before they were caught, they went on double dates. They murdered together. They ran whiskey and gin as bootleggers. They committed so many robberies, strong arm robberies, gambling rackets. They shook people down for protection. And they acted mainly in the beginning of their criminal career as independent contractors. They didn't work for any mob outfit originally. My tablet just shut down on my phone. Oh, I'm sorry. That movie about them was wild. The Kraut brothers, says Mel, maybe? The Cray brothers. There we go. Cray brothers. It's going around. Hello, it's going around. What decade? They were active in the 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. I'd have to, don't quote me on the 40s, but definitely in the 50s and 60s. But this is the correct answer to question 3 is C as in cat, Reginald Cray. This is the Cray brothers. And they also had a group of other people who worked with them, and they called them the Cray Gang when they were active. But together, they did just about anything and everything for $1, especially if it was illegal. They were the Cray Cray. The autocorrect is going nuts. Hi, Starfire. welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. All right, going on. If I get my mouse over to the right screen. Question number 4. This duo were both executed on the same day within hours of each other. Something that has only happened once before and has never happened since. Murder, protection rackets, arsonists, and nightclub owners. Who are they? Is this David and George Lansing? B, Mikey Latham and George Green Mile Snoop? C, George Sinner and Scott Officer? Or D, George Yoke and James Latham? Change it to Kraut. That happens. Crazy autocorrect. One time in history that before they were executed on the same day within hours of each other. Now I'm talking about legal executions, not where they strung up a rope in a tree and executed multiple bandits at the same time. You know, Wild West justice or anything. This was state-sponsored executions. But only happened one time before and one time since that two of people who were part of the same gang or organization were executed on the same day. You would think it would have happened a lot more than that, but only once before and never since. Wishing Lori and Chad. We got B, and C. Short Nass is going with C. JDR is going with A. According to my notes here, there are 2 movies that have been based loosely on this group's criminal exploits. 2 movies, according to IMDb, that are based on their life of criminal activity. Mel Stiller's going with D. There may be other movies, but made-for-TV movies don't. It's kind of weird when it comes to IMDb. Sometimes things that are on television don't necessarily, or made for television, like mini documentaries, they don't necessarily show up on IMDb unless there's somebody who becomes famous out of that or was in part of it, and then it shows up on their IMDb page, and then IMDb makes a page or a contribution page of that actual made for TV. Sometimes they just list them out and there's no links to the information too. Prison reform or same shirt? Don't know. Didn't even think about that. But they are wearing the same shirt, aren't they? Mel Stiller thinks it's D. All right, question 4. We're going to go with Mel Stiller's answer, and it is correct. It is D, as in dog. This is George Yoke and James Latham. They were both executed on June 22nd, 1965, within hours of each other. Now, if you really want to have fun, open up a search engine right now and type in June 22nd, 1965, and look at what comes up. While researching this question, I actually found a whole nother interesting case about a man who killed his family and then walked into the police department calmly and admitted to the entire crime. A family annihilator from June 22nd, 1965, that I hadn't even heard of. But that's the first thing that comes up, at least on my search results. Your results may be slightly different. Looks like you know at least one thing. What do you know? You got that right. All right, going on to question number 5. Hard to believe, but these two sickos killed as many as 11 people. However, one who really got their kicks of the rape, abductions, and murder was the wife. Who? Oh, yeah, they were a murder couple. Who are they? Oh, I should try reading that again. Hard to believe, but these two sickos killed up to as many as 11. However, one who really got their kicks from the rape and abduction and murders was the wife. Oh, yeah, they were a murderer couple. Who are they? Is this A, Amy and Scott Gooseberg, B, Gerald and Charlene Gallagher, C, Samantha and James Reitz, or D, Angel and David Spree? Wow, 80s hairstyles. Tammy's going with D, Angel and David Spree. Douglas County Sheriff's Office is what their placards in front of both of them say. Purple's going with D as well. In case you're wondering when this is from, they were active as killers between 1977 and 1980 in Sacramento, California. She ain't no angel. Sal's, I don't know. D. Starfire's going with A. Purple, D. Cement shoes, B. Active as murderers between 1977 and 1980 in Sacramento, California. 3 years. Christina is going with A. Starfire, A as well. Sacramento. It's been a long time since I've been to Sacramento. I think the last time I was in Sacramento was around the time that OJ went on his slow speed chase thing in that white Bronco. Now I know that was in Los Angeles, but that was about the same time I was last time I was there in Sacramento. JDR and Mel are both going with B. I had the same haircut back then. Did you have to use a lot of Aquanet for that? Oh, I remember the Aquanet from the 80s, 80s and early 90s. Aquanet. I had 4 sisters, so you believe me, I smelled Aquanet. It was like the entire house smelled of Aquanet. I'm covering cement shoes and changing to B. Mel's going with B. Question number 5. Pigeon Mac. Welcome, Pigeon Mac. How are you doing, Pigeon Mac? I hope you had a wonderful weekend this past weekend. Sorry I'm late. You're good. Aquanet turned my hair orange. Wow. Go into a bathroom in a disco in the 80s and choke on Aquanet. Good to see you. Good to see you too. I never used Aquanet or anything like that. I think the closest thing I ever used was Paul Mitchell, like foaming pomade or something like that. It was like a styling foam, but I never had long hair. It was mainly just to keep it laid down flat. But that was way before I ever went into service, though. But I mean, I only had hair that was probably about 2 inches long. But it wasn't into the 80s big hair or teased out hair. Never got into that stuff. Never used the stuff. All right, question number 5. The correct answer is B as in boy. Cement Shoes was correct. B as in boy. This is Gerald and Charlene Gallego, or however you pronounce it, Gallego. Now, but Cement Shoes was right. B as in boy. Pomade. All right, going on to question 6. Well-educated, had his entire life ahead of him, came from a great family, yet he decided to kill with his best friend for no other reason than to see what it was like. Nathan Leopold committed murder along with who? Who did he commit murder with it? Was it A, Charles Ning, B, James Fryer, C, Richard Loeb, or D, Frank Pearson? I like the Aussie spray that smelled like Dimetapp cough syrup. Will, get a picture. I want to see. I actually don't. I don't have any pictures of what I looked like in the 80s at all. I think I have maybe one. Might be on my YouTube, not on my YouTube, but my Facebook picture. Like my sister posted it a long time ago. But all the family photo albums, I gave them to my oldest sister, and she has them in storage in her house. I don't even have any photo albums here. No pictures on the wall, nothing, of what it looked like back then. I mean, I've got pictures of like my 25, 30 years ago that, for when my daughter was born, like family photos of like her as when she was a baby. She was a chunk little baby. But don't even have any pictures to share. Gave them all away. Not that my mother took a lot of pictures of me anyways. Most of the photo albums. She has photo albums on top of photo albums of sunsets and sunrises. She loved sunsets and sunrises. And she took a lot of pictures of my sisters. But I was usually gone with, off someplace playing or, doing something like a little boy would do, or teenagers. I just wasn't at home, and my sisters mainly hung out around the house and their friends would come over. So there's a lot of pictures of that. Mel's going with C, Richard Loeb. Got a lot of people guessing C. Excuse me. Okay. Question number 6. Go through my pictures and make each of my kids a photo album. There you go, Caleb. That'd be interesting. That way, that one person doesn't just have them all, and they can share. And with today's technology, you can go to like certain places, and they can scan the whole thing and put them right on a disc, or on a thumb drive, or you can get picture quality. Right now with like certain copiers and stuff, it looks just like the original, but it's on a piece of paper. All right, question 6. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Richard Loeb. And who did they kill? They killed Bobby Franks in May of 1924. Bobby Franks. No reason other than they wanted to see what it was like and to see if they could get away with it, basically. May of 1924, Bobby Franks. All right, question 7. The couple that murders together stays together. Isn't love grand? They killed 9 young women, including their own daughter. Who is this lovely couple? Is this the Riles, the Carsons, the Dobsons, or the Wests? Who is this lovely couple? Ooh, Lisa, welcome. Oh, and now and Mars. Welcome. Oh, Lisa. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. I'm glad you could be here with us tonight. Sal and Cement are going with D. Catalisa A. Purple D. Who is this lovely couple? The couple that murders together stays together. And yes. And Tammy Faye and Jim Baker. The British couple, the West, says Mel D. Good evening, Aunt B, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. Glad you could be here with us tonight. We're on question 7 right now. The question is, the couple that murders together stays together. Isn't love grand? They killed 9 young women, including their own daughter. Who is this lovely couple? Juicy Jules is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Juicy Jules. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Bill and Hillary. Oh. I really think someone should do some investigation into how many times did Bill Clinton get on that airplane and fly to Pedo Island. The couple that murders together stays together. Isn't love grand? They killed 9 young women, including their own daughter. Who is this lovely couple? Question 7. The correct answer is D, as in dog. This is Fred and Rosemary West. Good night, everybody. I have company. You have a great night, Mel, and thank you for being here with us. You have a wonderful week ahead. Fred and Rosemary West. The couple that murders together stays together. Question 8. They say females mature faster than males. So at the age of 14, Carly Ann Fugate started helping her much older serial killer boyfriend. going as far as to help him find victims. Don't worry, she was convicted as well. Who was her boyfriend? Was it A, Gary Ridgway, B, Peter Sutcliffe, C, Charles Manson, or D, Charles Starkweather? At the age of 14, Carly Ann Fugate. I remember this case. It was horrific. Fred West killed himself. We have D, an A, a D, and an A. I got both right. There you go. Rackhart's just looking. Just looking. They tore down the West Hill house. Yes, they did. It's actually a walking path now. With they put in some trees and a sidewalk. It is gone. They tore that entire house down. Well, they had to. First off, they had to tear up the deck and to find out how many people were buried underneath the patio. So, but yeah, the whole place is gone. D says ought to be a complete guess. At 14, she trailed as an adult. Trialed as an adult. She was convicted much later, but at the age of 14, she started helping him, and she was dating him. I think he was like 24, 25 when she was 14. He might have been older when they first started dating. They met at a sock hop or like a dance, like that. Where was their house? Was it London? Was it in London? I could be wrong where the West house is. I remember seeing the documentary about the West, and where the house was, and that they tore it down, and they built the sidewalk, and they were putting in trees and stuff. They fried him. I never heard of these people. I'm sorry, Pigeon Mac. I tried to pick ones that that were more well known than other people. I mean, there have been a lot of murderous duos out there over the years, but at the same time, people were, either two people killed together, brothers, cousins, nephews, husband and wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, stuff like that. And they only convicted one of the murders, normally the male. And the female would take, some kind of plea deal, to testify against them or to, turn in evidence and tell them where the bodies were, whatever. They cooperated with the investigation. So they would nail them instead of like giving them murder, trials. This was the way it was up until about the early 1970s. But then they start convicting them, a lot of the, especially if it was a male and female, they start convicting them as co-counsel, kind of like Lori and Chad in the case that's going on there. It's two separate trials, but the same basic evidence is going to be brought into both. I know a place called Groucher Road, but I can't remember the county, but it wasn't London. It was North England. North End? I don't know. I can't remember square dancing. It was something like that, Reichardt. Some kind of dance is where they met initially. A different time in America. Different time. All right, question 8. The correct answer is D as in dog. Charles Starkweather. Charles Starkweather is the correct answer. He fried. believe, but they executed him. I do believe, but I'm not entirely sure on that one though. I did not write that down. All I wrote down was how they met, and how they met and where she was from and her family and where his family is from. Yeah, I mean he was already a convicted felon at the time, and dating a 14-year-old girl. Don't date Charles's. Don't date a Charles. All right, going on to question number 9. One of the rarest duos ever made. Both of these killers were diagnosed psychopaths. Trust me when I tell you psychopaths don't get along with each other well or work well together. Matter of fact, side note, there have only been 2 known psychopaths who have ever worked together to kill. Sociopaths, are even rarer. So, sociopaths. Can you pick this man's name out from below? Is this A, Christopher Worrell, B, Patrick Dean Richards, C, Tommy Babyface Nelson, or D, Ronald Spade Liller II? Who is this man? And we are going outside of the United States for this one. So don't guess one's from murderers from America. This is outside of the United States. Don't know this case, but I just knew it wasn't the other killers. Sometimes that's what you have to do, at least. Well, with Lisa, is just deduction. It's like I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's this one. Lisa A, short match B, pitch mark D, question mark. I don't know. Well, Lisa's gonna guess C. LOL. Hey, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. It's got to be one of the 4. On B, my guess is A. Sal is going with B. Rackard E, Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and Alex Cox. All 3 psychopaths worked well together. But were they diagnosed as psychopaths or sociopaths? That's the question. Diagnosed sociopaths. This man and his partner were both diagnosed as sociopaths. It's very rare. I mean, you have to remember they have no empathy. They don't have any, they don't care about somebody else. I'll just throw that guy under the bus if the cops get close to us. They could care less who the other person is. That's why they don't work well together. Throw them under the bus. Get rid of them. It was that person. JDR is Australian. Charles, the Starkist tuna commercial star. Definition, please. LOL. You want the definition of a sociopath? Antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopath, is a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right or wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. That is, according to the Mayo Clinic, the criminal definition of what a sociopath is. All right, question 9. The correct answer for question 9 is A as in apple. This is Christopher Worrell, otherwise known as the Truro murders from South Australia. Christopher Worrell. Going on to question number 10, 10, 10. Going on to question 10, 10, 10. Hold your horses, you young whippersnappers. Grandma and Grandpa aren't dead yet. We can do what you youngins can do. Matter of fact, at the age of 69 and 76, we're sentenced to death for killing 5 men. Who are we? Is this picture Rose and James Matkin? B, Ray and Faye Copeland? C, Regina and David Marsh? Or D, Regina and Dale Connor? Hold your horses, you young whippersnappers. A, B, Kalalisa, C. These two senior citizens killed 5 people. 5, and in case you're wondering, they were all men. They killed 5 men. Christina is going with A. She looks like Rose, like a rose. E, Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Old blue eyes. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was, and James, not James Dean. Dean Martin. Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin were 2 of my father's favorite artists. Every day he'd come home from work, he'd take off his work shoes and he'd go sit down on the recliner, and my mom would bring him a cup of coffee, and he'd walk over. We had this giant console that had like a record player and 8-track player in it, and he'd put on Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, one of the Rat Pack. He liked Sammy Davis Jr. as well. He had quite a few records of his as well, but he put on normally Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin. He loved their music. Rock Card's going with B, question mark. JDR, A, Purple D, Sal, A, Aunt B, B. Aunt B is guessing B, Aunt B. Hold your horses, you young whippersnappers. I think the Rat Pack is fine. I like Nat better. Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole had one of those unforgettable voices, so I'll agree with that. I don't know about better, but they hired guys to work their farm. The guys were transients, says Aunt B. Yes, sir. Nat King Cole. Unforgettable. That's what you are. Hold your horses, you young whippersnappers. Starfire is going with C. The judge from the comedy show Night Court was also obsessed with Frank Sinatra. Night Court, the original. Oh, that was Harry Stone. I believe it was. Sing it. E, Ronald and Nancy Reagan. Yeah, interesting fact about Ronald Reagan. When he was the head of the Screen Actors Guild in California, well before his political ambitions ever took off, he turned other actors into the the witch hunt for communists. He helped blackball fellow artists that he believed were subversives or were communists, but later denied that he did. But he can't deny it now. Well, he's gone. Obviously, he can't deny it anymore. But his FBI file that under the Freedom of Information Act, you can see where he turned in dozens of actors who were maybe they're on the outskirts of society. They believed in something else, or he also turned them in for because they were homosexuals. I can actually talk, but he turned them in. He always denied it, but he did it. Harry Stone is gone. I haven't seen the new Night Court. I mean, I've seen some of the clips. I see they have John Larroquette is back on it, but I haven't actually seen any of them yet, though. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, question 10. The correct answer is B as in boy. Ray and Faye Copeland. Ray and Faye Copeland. I don't remember who said it, though, but yes, they killed 5 men that were migrant farmers, transients, who worked on their property. And they killed them. They knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't like, Ray did it all by himself. It was the two of them together decided, that this needs to happen, or one would kill him and the other one would help, dispose of the body. But Ray and Faye Copeland, real winners. Yes. All right, going on to question 11. Did these brothers, did these brothers escape from Alcatraz? Did these brothers escape from Alcatraz? Is what I should have said there. Should have checked that one. Alcatraz prison, and lived to tell the tale. They counted us as dead, never found any evidence that we died. Neither of us shut our mouths about our escapes. Who are we? Excuse me. Is this A, Theodore Cole and James Smith? B, Theodore Cole and Jake Sims? C, Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe? Or D, Theodore Cole and Sandy Hood? Who are these two men? And obviously, you can see the one in the bottom right corner, the picture, clearly shows his name is Theodore Cole. That's why each option is Theodore Cole. And who's the other man up above him? Tammy's going with A, Summit C, Calilisa C, Pigeon Mac B, question mark, could be. Did they escape from Alcatraz and live to tell about it? And I'll give you a couple of hints on this one. The only evidence that they ever found of their escape was they found life jackets and life preservers on one island, and then they found another part of evidence near the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, Alcatraz is a former prison, former military outpost in the sound of San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay. But did they actually escape and live to tell about it? Purple is going with C, and Tammy Hall. E, Wally and the Beeve, Cleaver. Clint Eastwood. Tonight at 7 o'clock, Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz. Tune in. Alcatraz was Al Capone's beachfront property. He was one of the more popular prisoners who spent time there. Whitey Bulger spent time there. The Birdman of Alcatraz. He kept canaries and finches. Well, B is going with C. Sal, C, and JDR are going with C. 3 C guesses. Did they escape and live to tell about their escape? Because according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, they never found any evidence that they died. They believe that their bodies were washed out to sea. That no one ever made a successful escape from Alcatraz. There was one person who escaped from Alcatraz and swam all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge and was found climbing the actual concrete pillar of the Golden Gate Bridge. That's quite the distance of a swim going against the current. But did these two escape Alcatraz and live to tell about it? 3, 2, 1. Question 11. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe. Now, here is the evidence, potential evidence, I should say, alleged evidence, that they may have actually survived, and the FBI and the state of California just didn't want to admit that anyone ever escaped from Alcatraz and lived to tell about it. 2 individuals years later wrote a series of letters saying that they were Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe. That they had, one was living in Arizona and the other one, I believe, in Wyoming at the time. But they knew certain details about those 2 individuals that only the individuals themselves would know, or otherwise they had to have known somebody who served time on the Rock, which is Alcatraz, and they knew in the series of letters that have never been turned over to law enforcement because, well, I believe they're held in a private museum or a private collector has them. But the letters were filled with certain details that only the prisoners themselves would know about the escape, who they are, how they changed their name, and what their ages were when the letters were actually written. So the FBI always wanted to get a hold of those letters. Of course they did. And if they ever were able to say, prove, hey, look, these letters were actually written by these 2 individuals, Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe, that they would have to admit that somebody actually did escape from Alcatraz and lived to tell about it. And they don't want anybody to know that. It was supposed to be the prison that was that nobody could escape from. So I think they lived, said Sal. I think that the likelihood is, and don't buy into the documentaries about the current that goes out and it would have pushed them out to sea, because it was a high current and a swift current that night. If they would have timed it right when they got into the water, the current would have been going from out in the sea. It would have been coming in and it would have pushed them on their raft directly towards the Golden Gate Bridge and back into the Sound. And who's to say that there wasn't a boat waiting on, near the Golden Gate Bridge for somebody else to pick them up? They don't want to even think about that as a possibility. But anyways, moving on to question 12. I think it's interesting, and I think there's a highly likelihood is that these 2 individuals did survive. But I can't prove it. Okay, question 12. An old-timey photo for an old-timey crime. Sentenced to death, she got away after her sentence was commuted. They strung him up on August 15th, 1893. Who are these two? Is this A, John and Sarah Davenport? B, John and Sarah Mencken? C, John and Sarah Sidney? Or D, John and Sarah Wales? Who are these two old-timey criminals? Calalisa's going with A. Question 12. Some choosers are going with A. Reichart D. Question number 12. Old timey photo for an old timey crime. Sentenced to death. She got away after her sentence was commuted. They strung him up on August 15th, 1893. Who are they? We have B with A and Starfire chiming in with A as well. And Pigeon Mac, A question mark. I don't know who they are. Maybe it's A. Here you go. Short Nice and Sal and Tammy are all going with A. I don't know how the weather is where you guys are, but it's hot as hell here today. Well, not as hot as it normally gets, but it's really hot for this time of year, for end of April. It is 90 degrees right now where I am. 90. Tried to Google it and it came up with Hall and Oates, Sarah and Sarah. Hall and Oates, Sarah, LOL. Sorry to say we all. Old-timey photo for an old-timey crime. Sentenced to death. She got away after her sentence was commuted. They strung him up on August 15th, 1893. Who are these two? It's a cool, windy 53 degrees where Aunt B is. I want to be there. Not here. 90 degrees and sunny. No wind at all. Just dead, hot, humid. Bleh. Wasn't ready for it. I have to, unwinterize the air conditioning for the studio. I wrap plastic bags around the inlet and outlet of the AC because I just turn it off when I don't need it, and then winterize it, put foam around it, and insulation. It helps cut down the draft from it. But I gotta get it all out. Grandson had 2 ball games today. Ooh, I hope your grandson had fun. All righty. Question 12. The correct answer is B as in boy. John and Sarah Mencken. Had to Google for Celsius. It's 1:30 E of Dallas. It's nice and cool. Breeze. It's 72 degrees where Reichart is. Gilligan and Mr. Howell. This is the Menckens. He was executed on August 15th, 1893. All right, hopefully you know the next one. Question 13. Turns out you don't have to be friends or even married to your murder partner. Here we have murder cousins. The FBI believe we killed only 6, but evidence says they killed 9. Who are they? Is this A, David Gore and Fred Waterfield? B, David Valverde and Mike Smith? Or C, David Martin and Regan Martin? Or D, Davy Jones and Paul Martin? The group led me astray. Pigeon Mac going with B. Catalisa going with A, and Juicy Jules going with B. Who are these murdering cousins? Lori Vallow and other brothers. do, 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 do. Rackart going with B. David Valverde and Mike Smith. Right cards. Guess 50 and rainy here in Michigan. Supposed to snow tomorrow? What? That's weird. But it happens. Purple going with B, short nice C. Question number 13. LOL. Yep. I don't mind heat. But I like it like the mid 60s, low 70s. That's hot enough for me. Especially if I have to garden or something. I don't want to be out there when it's 90 plus degrees. I think it's supposed to drop to like in the 70s tomorrow. I gotta do some weeding around my tulips. Like Tiny Tim. Tiptoe through the tulips. That top dude was so nice. Side brow. Had some nice side brows. Yeah, probably the age when the photos were taken. Sal's going with B. Starfire A. They look nothing alike. And they're cousins. We have murdering cousins here. Just look at the distance between their eyes. That's what I was looking at when I put the photo together. I'm like, Jesus. Okay. Tiny Tim came to our grandma's Christmas party in 1996. I was watching a thing about Tiny Tim the other day. It just happened to be, I was talking about tulips, but he actually died on stage. I did not know that. Had a massive heart attack and died on stage. Even though he did it, he went back on tour, knowing that he had a heart ailment and didn't want to stop the tour, and died on stage. I didn't know that. He was stinky. It's going to be snowing up in the Rockies all May. All right, question 13. This, ladies and gentlemen, is A as an apple. David Gore and Fred Waterfield. A as in apple. David Gore and Fred Waterfield. Love Nat King Cole songs? He had an unforgettable voice. He was unforgettable. All right. Question 14. Move my cursor over to the right one. Question 14. Believe it or not, these two freaks are famous. Their crimes are studied around the world by law enforcement. And that is a fact. Their crimes spread the field from murder to theft. Oh, they are cousins as well. Who are they? Is this Eric and Dylan Klebold? B. Scott and Matthew Tarran, I think. C. George Thorpe and John Tillman. Or D. Angelo Bruno Jr. and Kenneth Bianchi. Who are these two? They're still used in the FBI Academy as part of the law enforcement training there, and they're also used in state law enforcement agencies across the United States and Europe and Australia, and even in South Africa as part of the training program for detectives in South Africa. They still study the case of these two individuals. World famous, I guess. These two freaks are famous. Right card's going with D. I'm watching. Juicy Jules A, Starfire D, Tammy D, Catalisa D. Short Knives D. Who are these people? Look nothing alike? No, they don't. Angelo is at the top, and Kenneth Bianchi is at the bottom, and that gives you your answer. It is D as in dog. Angelo Bruno Jr. and Kenneth Bianchi, otherwise known as the Hillside Stranglers. The Hillside Stranglers. Sal, just in time with D. Moving on. Question number 15. Go back over here. We never seen ourselves as bad people. That is in quotes. It didn't seem that way, though. They killed and robbed anyone and everyone. They lived fast and died young. Old-timey criminals, but do you know who they are? Is this picture A. William and Mary Cohon, B. Janine and Henry Kroll, C. Bonnie and Clyde, D. Joseph and Isabel Vanzetti? Pigeon Mac got one right. Who is this one, Pigeon Mac? Go 2 for 2. Who are these criminals? And don't forget, we have 3 bonus questions tonight. So this is not the last question. There are 3 bonus questions because I understand that some of these names, who the hell are these people? I've never heard of them. I never studied old-timey criminals. So I picked 3 bonus questions. C, of course. Short Knives is going with C, JDR C, Smenchu C, Calilisa C. C. We never seen ourselves as bad people. Purple is going with C as well. It didn't seem that way, though. They killed and robbed anyone and everyone. They lived fast and died young. Old-timey criminals, but do you know who they are? Who are they? Is it William and Mary Cohon, Janine and Henry Kroll, C. Bonnie and Clyde, or D. Joseph and Isabel Vanzetti? I think that's how you pronounce it, Vanzetti. Ooh, Sal's going with C as well. Who is this? Question number 15. Did anybody guess anything besides C? Oh, we got C down the board. I'm wrong, Juicy Jules. Well, I don't know, Juicy Jules. Did you guess on this one? We are on question number 15. All right. Well, question number 15. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde. B, C. Just in time. On B. All right. Now we have 3 bonus questions. Bonus question number 1. We just seen, maybe learned about 15 different killer duos, all equally scum. Which one of those is actually more admired in today's culture over all the rest? Is it A, the Cray brothers, B, Fred and Rosemary West, C, the Turturro murders, or D, Bonnie and Clyde? We just seen, maybe learned about 15 different killer duos, all equally scum. Which one of those is actually more admired in today's culture over all the rest? Short Nice is going with F. D. Met D. D, of course, Reichardt says. Bonnie and Clyde. D. Tammy's going with D as well. Smith Shoes, D. Admiring criminals. That's something new. Not sure why people would want to admire a criminal, but they do. So many movies and documentaries made about them. Yes. Ben and Jerry. I don't think either one of us should be eating Ben and Jerry's there, Reichardt. It's summertime. I gotta work off some few pounds myself. LOL, says the pigeon Mac. Killer duo bonus question number 1. Who is more admired in today's culture over all the rest? Juicy Jules, it's warm here in Colorado. I'm right there with you, Will. Yeah. Very sedentary over the last year. Well, especially during the winter time. Packed on a couple of pounds. But I'm rocking the dad bod. I need to walk off the pounds. Yeah. Let's make a bet. Who can lose the most weight? I'm not betting anything. Sugar-free Ben & Jerry's. I don't know. Is it any good? All right. Who is more admired in today's culture over all the rest? The correct answer to the bonus question number 1 is D, as in dog. Bonnie and Clyde are more admired in today's culture than any of the other duo killers that we learned about tonight or seeing tonight. They are in popular culture. Songs are made about them. Movies are made about them. There's merchandise, with their likeness on it. There are all kinds of different things where, in popular culture where they are actually admired. And their story about 2 outlaws trying to get away from the man, is a story that, that resonates even today. So Bonnie and Clyde. All right. Bonus question number 2. Convictions, confessions linked by evidence. They all should never be admired. However, their crimes have been looked at by other killers as motivation. Of the 15 different duos we just learned about, which one has been talked about by more serial killers than all of the rest? Was it A, Loeb and Leopold, B, Fred and Rosemary West, C, Ronald and Regina Cray, Reginald, not Regina, Reginald, D, Angelo Bruno, and Kenneth Bianchi? Love Ben and Jerry's oatmeal cookie chunk. I gotta glorify it like the James Bros. Same way. Making me hungry for ice cream, says Sal. my son's been eating this chai tea sherbet. It's got less sugar in it than ice cream. So it's a little bit healthier for him. He doesn't need the sugar. Trust me on that. Getting him wired on sugar is not fun, but he likes that it's like a gelato, but it's made with chai tea. I got to eat a small piece of red velvet cake today. I'm good. Ooh, that sounds good. I haven't had red velvet cake in a long time. I bet that's Will's chai. B's going with B. Tammy D? Question mark. Kalisa C. Purple B. Convictions, confessions linked by evidence. They all should never be admired. However, their crimes have been looked at by other killers as motivation. Of the 15 different duos we just learned about, which ones have been talked about by more serial killers than all the rest? The correct answer to bonus question number 2 is D, as in dog. Angelo Bruno and Kenneth Bianchi. D, as in dog. Did it have cream cheese frosting? Ooh. On the red velvet cake? Ooh, that sounds good. So nice and creamy. All right. Moving on to bonus question number 3. Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds was number 1 on the Billboard charts the day this killer took his last breath on this earth. It was the zodiac sign of Cancer. This person strangled to death 2 women whom he was friends with. Who is it? Was it A, Jackson Brown, B, George York, B, Bobby Boucher, D, I don't know why that D is smaller, Alan Edwards Grima Tohoma? My wife brought it home from the bakery on her way home from work yesterday. Ooh. It was so nice and creamy. Oh, it sounds good. I gotta stay away from my daughter. She's a hell of a baker. She's always making cakes and cookies and cupcakes and stuff. I gotta stay away from her. Kick her out of my kitchen. She loves to bake. I rarely ever bake. If I do, I make cookies every once in a great while. But most of the time when I make cookies, they're not for myself. I'm making them for somebody else. Pidgemac B, question mark, Kalisa B, Starfire D, Juicy Jewel D. I love baking, this is K Love. I can't visit my favorite aunt without gaining pounds and a heart condition. My grandmother was that way. So was my great great grandmother. My great great grandmother, my grandmother's mom. But you ever walked into the house and you were under 395 pounds, you didn't leave without eating. She'd get up out of her chair and she would love them. She'd make you a whole meal and a cake to take with you, or you just ate and ate and ate. That's the way my family is. Always, we love, happiness, depression, everything centers around food. Matter of good things, bad things. House was just sucked away by a tornado. The crops in the field all died. You always had something to eat around there. Good things, bad things. Bobby just got into college. Dale just won the lottery. You ate about it. She would kill everyone. Yeah. If we could just get down to 300 pounds, I would be encouraged. I won, says Juicy Jules. Yeah, every new person, nice to meet you. Are you hungry? Yeah. Well, my great grandmother, my grandmother, they didn't ask you if you were hungry. They just made you food. There was no option about it, and you ate. They wouldn't let you leave without eating. They always gave you food to take home too. Neighbors stopped by, have a cup of coffee. They always had made a cake or something to share with them. You know, Farmer Joe comes over and helps Grandpa, change a tire on the tractor, make him something to eat to take home. That's just the way that the entire. It wasn't just my family; it was the whole community. And where I grew up in Wisconsin, food pushers, yeah, oh yeah, food pushers, big time. All right, cool. The third bonus question: Mr. Tambourine Man and By the Birds was number one on the Billboard charts the day this killer took his last breath on this earth. It was the zodiac sign of Cancer as well. This person strangled to death two women whom he was friends with. Who was this? The correct answer is B as in boy. George York. George York. George York. All right. Moving over to me. All right. How did we do tonight? A, B, C, D, or E? Mountain lion riding in a Yugo while smoking meth. Your mountain lion does not have to smoke meth. And yes, I plan to change it to just be mountain lion only for E. Apparently, some people have taken that entire joke about mountain lions, Yugos, and meth the wrong way. It's meant as a joke. It was never meant to be serious. But how did you do tonight? Short Nights F. Pigeon Mac, I got a C. Say that 3 times fast. Starfire C. Pigeon Mac. LOL. Just leave the meth. Meth kills. Meth kills. Hey, look! I got out of my little box. I'm no longer trapped in the corner. Freaking Barry Mountain Lion. Morphew. All right. So, of the 15 original questions, I knew exactly 5 of the 15. That's all I knew before I started doing the research into them. Of the bonus questions, I knew 2 of the bonus questions. I knew number 1 and I knew number 3 of the bonus questions. So altogether of 18, I would have only gotten 8 right. That's all I knew before I put the questions together and researched them. For some reason, I did not remember Ronald Cray and Reginald Cray, the Cray brothers. I for some reason in my mind, I totally zonked them out. I couldn't remember them. Or a box. Nobody put baby in the corner. LOL. That's such a great movie. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Will we ever have an actor like Patrick Swayze ever again? I wonder sometimes. I wonder if we'll ever have an actor that is so versatile like that. I mean, we have actors and actresses now that are very versatile in the different roles that they take on. But will we ever have, someone who can be a leading man? Then he can also be a criminal, like Scum, and then he's the heartthrob, but he could play them all, and he did them all great. 1 in 20 billion. No, Patrick was a one-off. 50-50 split on my end. What does your T-shirt say? Oh, the Goonies. Goonies never die. From the movie Goonies. Goonies never die. Never say die. Sorry. But I always wonder if we'll ever have anyone like him ever again. Will we ever make movies like those? He was the Michael Landon Van Damme and Hoffman mix into one, plus the best dancer. Willie in the small little window corner. Yeah. I've tried this, the setup, so I'm 50-50. So I one side of the screen, so it's a full size of me, and then the question. But it makes the question so small. I've tried moving it so that the chat is on one side. I've tried all different kinds of different formats. It just never doesn't look great, and the way that I'm doing it now with the contrast of black and white background, it appears that more people are able to read, and understand. They can tell what it is, what the questions are. And I understand that this is, if I'm coming across on your side as foggy, it looks like, I'm out of focus right now. I'm not. I am shooting in 8K right now, but I'm uploading in 8K to Restream, and then Restream is then distributing it out to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And they each step along the way, the quality gets less because each one of them has their own compression, programs that they're running. So if you're tuned in on Twitter, it's slightly better, but the audio is not that great. If you're on Facebook, it's 50-50. Half of the time it sucks, but that's Facebook. And YouTube has the best audio, but the video is not the best now. But I'm at the mercy of them. Good night, Tammy. Good night, Sal. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. Quickly before you leave, give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If anybody has a suggestion for another trivia night, these are the suggestions that we have right now. And I'm always taking suggestions for trivia night. Mob Bosses, Family Annihilators, Paul Bernardo, Chris Watts, Lewis Peak, Bella Guinness, Marie Hilgree, trivia on anything that's outside of the United States for our international viewers. They didn't narrow it down, just any trivia, crime trivia from outside of the United States. Ivan Millet and Patty Moriarty. Those are the suggestions right now. If anybody has another one, I would love to hear it. Either put it in the comment section here or comment on the video, whichever you need. You have a good night as well, Will. Thank you, Callie Lisa. We should do well with the Watts. Either that or the community out there is going to burn us all to the ground. Still a hot button subject. People are still split even today, K-Love, on, well, if she wouldn't have spent all that money, he wouldn't have killed her. I don't give a crap if she spent every last dollar they had and made them as broke as hell. It never gave him the right to put his hands on her in anger or the children. And I just can't understand how people can even say something like that about someone who was murdered. Well, if she wouldn't have done that, that is so wrong to say that about someone. Buckwalter, did I not mention that one? I think I have that on here, don't I? Nope, I don't. I'll write that one down. Key. Alter. Blaming the victims. It's still in a given week, K-Love, I still get maybe 24 replies to either the video on Cindy, talking about how Chris was the victim, that video, or I get ones on the 3-part series where me and my friends spent I think it was like a month going through everything that was publicly researchable about their finances. I get probably about 24 comments a week on either one of those those videos. I mean, there's 5 videos total there, but I get probably about 24 comments a week, and over and over and over again, it's always the same thing. That it was her fault. She did this. He didn't do it. It was somebody else. He was set up. There's new information that has come out, and he's innocent. She did this. The children. It's like, shut up. I'm of all the cases that I've covered on this channel, the Watts series and videos that I did are, I mean, they're obviously one of the most popular. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wanted to cover them, but I should have turned the comment section off on quite a few of those videos, initially, because it got negative, really, really negative towards me for making the video. And nobody wants to wake up in the morning and see, a dozen comments, calling the victim, different names, and disparaging them and their family and their dead children. But people sit behind a keyboard and they type up whatever they want because they don't feel there's any consequences to their actions. Dang, that's a lot for being 3 years later. Blaming the victim. Well, I mean, just look how much hate, and negative things are still being thrown at Frankie and his dad, Junior, and his dad and mom. What did they ever do? Nothing. Nothing at all. They're the victims here, just like Shannon and the girls and unborn baby Nico. They were the victims. But they're people who've painted themselves in the Watts corner or the Shannon corner. And these people are never going to see the truth. They're always going to blame this side, and that side's always going to blame that side. The victim never had it. There's no blame for the victim. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it was her fault or anyone's fault. Again, he had no right to ever put his hands on any of them in anger. But Yeah. Little bit of Sandra. Even Chris Watts' mother shames Shanann. Oh, a little bit of Sandra. She always has. I have a video on my channel of an interview that Cindy Watts gave to a reporter. Shortly after, it was right around the time that the case had just, he had taken the plea agreement. And a lot of people forget she also released 3 videos that she made herself. She since deleted them, but some of us have copies of them. But where she blamed the girls and and Shanann for it all. She she went on to say that the girls never had any allergies, and that it was all made up by her, and she twisted his mind. She drove him to do this. She was just absolutely vicious, after Chris took the plea agreement. She was vicious before then. I mean, she wasn't exactly, mother-in-law of the year before then. But now it's the world we live in. It is, in a lot of ways. People want to put the murderer on a pedestal and learn everything about them, but we want to cast aside the victim because, well, they're gone. They're not here to be able to defend themselves. And do they need to? Should the Shanann have to defend herself at all? Should anybody have to defend her in her good name? I don't think anybody should have to. I don't think anybody should be attacking her either. But it's the world we live in. And we can't change it. Can we? As society, can we, learn to, appreciate life, and that it's, life is not disposable? Hopefully we can. I've got hope that it'll change. I mean, I got a 6-year-old son in the house. I'm hoping, that somewhere along the line, people will look at him and not judge him differently, because he is different from, other neurotypical children out there. But, should he be, not afforded the same opportunities because he's different? Should society, look at victims and just forget them, they're gone, and put this person up on a pedestal? I'm hoping that it changes, but I'm hoping it changes in my lifetime, if not my son's, because I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up there. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping in and playing trivia tonight with us. I don't know what trivia subject will be next week. I'm still researching and putting together questions. And I thank everyone for the suggestions. Like I said, I have no idea which one we're going to do next week. But I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead and you stay safe out there. And thank you again for joining me.